Hello. Get the microphone on. How are you doing, MACKEM CABBIE here on this slightly duller day, but it's still red hot here in the conservatory. If you hear anything in the background, that is just the fan trying to keep us cool. So some more transfer news, and this time Leeds and Sunderland both now considering a bid for the £22 million striker who's keen to move to England. So Leeds and Sunderland, of course, are both faced with an unenviable task of attempting to stay in the Premier League, of course, as newly promoted teams. So none of Leicester City, Ipswich Town or Southampton, of course, were able to manage that feat last season, and the bottom three were ultimately 13 points adrift. But as they demonstrated in the transfer window already this summer, both Leeds and Sunderland certainly have the ambition to buck that trend. And in order to do so, both clubs are still searching for a new number 9, and Nice's Guessand might ultimately be the answer. So the TBR football chief correspondent Graham Bailey understands that all of Leeds, Sunderland and Brentford are weighing up an offer for the 24-year-old Guessand, I think that's how we pronounce it, who scored 12 goals in League One last term. 21-year-old Guessand has he's got 10 caps for the Ivory Coast and has played his whole career in France thus far, aside from a season-long loan at Lausanne Sport in Switzerland in 2021. So previously revealed that Leeds United has made contact with Guessand last month, but now Guessand is expected to leave Nice this summer following his best campaign yet in France. There's a lot of interest in the centre-forward, and on the backlash of fresh interest from Brentford, Leeds and Sunderland, it's understood that a move to England would appeal to Guessand, who is eager to find a new challenge excuse me, over the coming months. So even with 15 goals from Jermaine Defoe in the 2016-17 season, Sunderland weren't able to survive the drop, finishing 20th in their last top-flight campaign. So similarly, Spanish star Rodrigo Moreno scored 13 goals for Leeds in their 2022-23 relegation season, demonstrating how important a reliable goal scorer can be. Even with two regular contributors in Defoe and Rodrigo, neither Sunderland nor Leeds were able to survive the campaigns mentioned, and both now are considering a move for Guessand. It has to be asked whether he is the calibre of striker able to keep a side in the Premier League. And of course, it doesn't just slowly survive on a striker. We all know it is a team effort. Guessand has averaged around 1 goal every 5 games for Nice, but it should also be that factored in that he's spent a significant amount of time playing out wide, and as mentioned, the 24-year-old saw a sharp improvement in his goal scoring last term. He's never previously hit double digits in a single campaign. It was recently reported though that Guessand might cost around about 22 million this summer, and it remains to be seen which England side will make the first move. And as usual, let's get what some of the Sunderland fans are saying. Liam says, are we going to announce this, or are we just going to try and keep us guessing? Haha, you should be sweeping the stage, not singing on it or performing on it. Scott Bland says, isn't one or two of the new signings from Ivory Coast isn't one or two of the new signings from the Ivory Coast could maybe be in our favour? Mark says, sign them up. We'll then have a full team of AFCON international players. And somebody else, of course, Ian Marshall says, going to be no players left in the squad December, January when the AFCON comes on. I'm sure our hierarchy is thinking of that though. Leeds, again, is definitely scout sharing according to rumours. We have cover in centre forward for a few games, says David. Let's get him signed, said Andrea. Jack says he'll be a similar player to Kenwyne Jones. If he's played as a striker, big, fast, physical, can bully centre halves. So there we go. No doubt there'll be more news coming this way. I wouldn't be surprised if it's by the end of Sunday, to be honest with you. So there we go. That's the latest updates from the MACKEM CABBIE. Enjoy your Sunday. See you later.